Philadelphia, August 26, 2025. On a bright summer morning along the Delaware River, the clang of shipyard cranes, the fluttering of flags, and the hum of anticipation set the stage for a ceremony steeped in symbolism and international cooperation. At the heart of it stood South Korean President Jae Myung, making a rare US visit to participate in the naming of the State of Maine, a newly christened vessel at Hanwha Philly Shipyard. The event, carefully orchestrated by US and South Korean officials, was more than a ritual of maritime tradition. It was a signal of alliance, of shared industrial power, and of the future of naval cooperation between two countries bound by decades of strategic partnership. The ceremony began with solemnity and pageantry. A posting of the colours by uniformed service members unfolded with practiced precision. The crowd rose to their feet, hands over hearts, as the Star-Spangled Banner was played, followed by the South Korean national anthem, echoing across the shipyard's open expanse. This moment of joint national pride was carefully staged to underscore the depth of the US-Korea alliance. Attendees included US government officials, Korean diplomats, shipyard executives, and workers who had poured months of labor into the massive vessel that now loomed overhead, wrapped in ceremonial flags and banners. In the event, Elaine, Chao, former United States Secretary of Transportation, stepped forward. With a practiced hand, she smashed the ceremonial champagne bottle against the hull, christening the vessel. The crowd cheered as foam and glass sprayed across the steel. For centuries, this ritual has symbolized good fortune and safe voyages for new ships. Here, it carried extra weight, not only for the workers who built the ship, but also for the trans-Pacific bond that helped bring it to life. Chao's presence was itself symbolic. As the first Asian American woman to serve in a US cabinet and a longtime advocate for maritime industry development, her role in this ceremony bridged history, heritage, and the forward-looking ambitions of both nations. President Jae Myung walked deliberately to the lectern. The applause that greeted him carried more than respect. It was a recognition of South Korea's growing stature, not only in the defense and shipbuilding sectors, but also on the world stage. Speaking in a calm yet firm tone, Lee began by acknowledging the significance of the moment. Jae Myung said, "Today, as we christen the State of Maine, we celebrate more than a ship. We celebrate the strength of friendship between the Republic of Korea and the United States." His words resonated deeply with the audience. The president emphasized that the event was not just about steel and engineering, but about shared values, common security interests, and the resilience of democratic allies. Jae Myung said, "This ship will sail as a symbol of our alliance, built with the hands of workers in Philadelphia and inspired by the spirit of cooperation between our nations." The president also noted the importance of economic and security collaboration, pointing out that Korea's investments in US industries, including the shipyard, go beyond profit. They are about trust and long-term partnership. Jae Myung said, "When South Korea invests in America, we invest in the future we share. Together, we are stronger, safer, and more prosperous." Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro stepped forward to greet President Lee with a firm handshake. The governor, visibly energized, welcomed the Korean leader to Philadelphia with a broad smile. In his remarks, Shapiro highlighted Pennsylvania's proud industrial heritage and the new opportunities created through international cooperation. Josh Shapiro said, "Philadelphia has always been a city of builders. Today, with the support of our Korean partners, we are proving once again that this city builds not only ships, but also bridges between nations." He praised the workers of the Hanwha Philly Shipyard, pointing to their craftsmanship as the foundation of both economic growth and geopolitical strength. Josh Shapiro said, "Every rivet, every weld, every plate of steel here carries the weight of a stronger alliance. This is what it means to build for peace and security." David Kim, CEO of Hanwha Philly Shipyard, addressed the audience. Standing before the vessel, his voice carried both pride and determination. David Kim said, "This ship represents the best of what happens when two nations work together. Korean innovation and American labor have joined to create something greater than the sum of its parts." Kim stressed that the partnership is not only about one ship, but about the long-term transformation of shipbuilding in Philadelphia. David Kim said, "Hanwha is committed to revitalizing American shipbuilding, creating jobs and strengthening the bonds between our countries. The State of Maine is only the beginning." The name State of Maine carries historical and symbolic resonance. In US naval tradition, ships named after states embody the unity of the Federation, while also paying homage to the maritime heritage of coastal states like Maine. For Koreans, too, the symbolism was not lost. By participating in the naming of a US state ship, President Lee's presence tied his country's destiny to that of America, reaffirming South Korea's role as a steadfast ally in an era of shifting geopolitical currents. Beyond the ceremony, this event unfolded at a moment of global uncertainty. With tensions in East Asia rising and with US defense strategy increasingly focused on maritime strength, the christening of a new ship held significance beyond Philadelphia's borders. South Korea has long been one of the world's leading shipbuilders, and its investments in the US maritime sector reflect both strategic foresight and alliance politics. Jae Myung said, "As our nations face new challenges, from maritime security to climate change, we know that together we can navigate even the roughest seas." The president's words connected the ceremony to global concerns, framing the ship not just as a vessel, but as a metaphor for the journey of allied democracies in turbulent times. As the ceremony drew to a close, the State of Maine stood gleaming under the Philadelphia sun, christened and officially named, awaiting its future voyages. Dignitaries and workers alike paused to take photos, shake hands, and exchange words of congratulation. For many shipyard employees, this was more than just another day's work. It was history, and they had a hand in shaping it. Josh Shapiro said, "When people look back at this day, they will see proof that America and Korea together can accomplish anything." Interviews conducted on the sidelines with shipyard workers revealed the personal pride felt in seeing their work recognized at the highest levels. One welder, wiping grease from his hands, remarked that this was the first time a foreign head of state had visited the yard in his career. Another worker said that the shipyard's partnership with Hanwha had saved jobs and given hope to families in Philadelphia. Such comments underscored the human stakes of international cooperation, that behind the headlines and ceremonies lie livelihoods, communities, and the promise of stability for working families. As dignitaries departed and the crowd dispersed, the shipyard slowly returned to its usual rhythm, the sound of welding torches, cranes, and labor replacing the ceremonial fanfare. Yet something had changed. The State of Maine now carried not only the hopes of a shipyard, but also the shared aspirations of two nations. Jae Myung said, "May this ship always sail in safety, and may it remind us of the friendship and alliance that will endure for generations." The christening of the State of Maine was more than a ceremonial milestone. It was a carefully staged message of unity, a reaffirmation of US-Korea partnership, and a promise of what lies ahead. Through speeches, rituals, and symbolism, leaders from both nations wove together a narrative of cooperation, one that transcended steel and ceremony to speak to the enduring alliance that has shaped decades of peace and prosperity. In Philadelphia on this summer day, the future of that alliance gleamed in the reflection of a newly named ship.
"I name this ship State of Maine, and may she bring fair winds and good fortune to all who sail on her."
존경하는 한국과 미국의 기업인 여러분.
Next up is Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania.
President Lee, I want to welcome you to the city of Philadelphia. We have created the Pennsylvania Hanwha Leadership Task Force. We call that the PHL Task Force, which will help expedite permits.
In maritime tradition, the naming ceremony is more than just a formality. It is a belief that the name bestows not only good luck, but protection for the ship as well as all those on board.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light 동해물과 백두산이
Seated.